Welcome to our webinar, Why an Intranet is Key to Office 365 Adoption. I'm Daryl Trimble, CEO of SP Marketplace. We're the leader in Office 365 business solutions. We provide SP digital workplace solutions, which are out-of-the-box portals and applications. And we've done this in over 1,100 organizations worldwide. But today, let's really talk about the importance of how you get people to use Office 365 online. So many organizations have gone to Office 365, some of them because they saw the strategic value of a cloud solution, others because Microsoft made them a deal. But the bottom line is, what they're really transforming from is a client-sided model with servers to a cloud-based model, which provides the promise of not only eliminating the need to manage, install, update, and so on, all these different client versions of Office, but also to give greater capabilities and accessibility across all devices, anywhere, anytime, through Office 365. But let's take a look at what really is happening, is what we're seeing out there today. So a lot of people have gone to Office 365, but in reality, from an adoption perspective, what they've done is just move their Exchange servers into the cloud, and that's it. But everybody is not really taking advantage of all the different services and functions that are available and they're already paying for in Office 365. They're still using Outlook on the client and a bunch of client tools. So now you're not only paying for the cloud, and you're paying for all the clients you were paying for before and maintaining and everything else. That just doesn't seem right. Why would you pay for something that you're not even using? Well, it may not be something that is your fault. It's all about getting your users to go online and fully adopt Office 365 and its great services. But let's step back and take a look at some of the challenges around this. So everybody agrees that Office 365 is a great platform. It allows you to really consolidate and bring together the employee experience in a digital workplace. It provides that promise. And it provides a ton of really cool services. Everything from, the standard things that people are aware of, email, calendar, to full Power BI for your dashboards, and Planner for tracking tasks and projects, and Groups for sharing, and OneDrive for common document workplaces and storage, and on and on. It's incredible the value you get with Office 365. The other thing too is you can then access a marketplace of hundreds of applications as well out there on Office 365, and you can even start to work in your teams in Office 365 groups or teams as well, and taking advantage of Skype for Business for online meetings and so on. The issue really comes down to it, though, for your users, is this can be all very overwhelming for them. This is a lot of stuff that's being thrown at them, really with no context of how they should use it in their job. So this is one of the main barriers to getting adoption of Office 365 online by your greater user community. So one of the things we're going to talk about here is being able to actually put it in the context of the organization and how they work through a concept called operational portals anchored by an intranet. So let's just take a look at what the average user sees when they log into Office 365. Here they are in their email, and they go to use another part of Office 365, and they drop down the app launcher, and they've got 30 or 40 different things they have a choice of here. And Microsoft is adding more and more every day. Well, that is overwhelming for the typical user out there, and they probably would just go back to their Office client and say, ooh, I don't want to touch this. Well, the key here is that overwhelming set of services is not really put into any context for them. And one of the things that you might want to look at is putting it into the context of how they work. So if we take a look at employees, they typically work within a functional organization, and that means they may work within a department. And they do business processes and collaboration and different work within the department as well. They may participate in teams, either inside the department or across departments as well. They also use internal services. They need to get services from HR, IT, facilities, and other places, and they need to find resources as well. So they need to be able to access those internal services in a consistent way. They need to be able to get at different resources like policies, procedures, contracts, maybe videos, training, that type of thing. They also need to be able to get at news announcements and events, communication type things, at all levels of the organization, both within their department and across the greater organization as well. They need to be able to collaborate too. And so they need to be able to collaborate across the organization. It could be anything from getting the latest newsletter to participating in a discussion group of some latest type of thing in the organization. They need to do collaboration outside the organization as well as inside their department. They need to collaborate as well. So all of this really is the context of how they work. But the core to it is the functional organization is where they work within, and they also get services within that functional organization. Unfortunately, the way that most organizations are set up, and now Office 365 offering all these different services, this is what it looks like to them. And it's not really making it easy for them to use it as part of their work, a natural part of their work. So the question is, why couldn't you do that? Why not put all these great services into the structure of how they work? Why not give them a home page that is at the organization top level? Why not give them a department site for their group to work within, as well as to be able to provide services? And why not give them what might be called employee self-service or employee central to go get services from other departments, find resources, and so on? This is what we mean by putting their daily activities, using these tools in the context of a work structure. Well, that is really what you're doing when you're putting in an intranet. So instead of going into Office Outlook and having that waffle of many different services, what if they could come to a home page? But what if from the home page they could access some of those services where it made sense? Sometimes they may access some things at the top level in the intranet. Other things may be accessing groups from within their department portals as well. What this is doing is actually taking those services and inserting them to be intuitively accessed from within their workspace. And really what we're talking about, again, is an overall structure, kind of a best practices portal structure that they can work within and access these services with an intranet at the top that serves as the homepage for the organization. That's what they can come to instead of just coming to a mass of different icons for services. If they need something in the organization, they can get help. They can find the documents. They can find the business processes they need from intuitive portals that are part of an employee central type concept. And if they're doing their work every day, whether it be part of IT, HR, or whatever sales area they're part of, they can do it within a portal. And from within those portals, they can actually access groups, types of information, or teams. They can access conversations and so on, so that instead of just launching out into a set of services, they're actually accessing the services in the context of what they're doing. So let's take a look at what Office 365 in the context of work might look like. So you've still got all the different services out there that they can access, but maybe you put in what we're calling an operational portal structure. Maybe it's a structure of portals that are built in really the context of your organization, in the context of the way people work. That is what we call an operational portal structure anchored by an intranet. And if you have, for instance, even just the intranet and a couple of departments in place as you go to Office 365, it will seem much more intuitive and much more part of their work rather than just launching Office 365 with all these services out there and tools and really putting it in no type of context at all. So what we're saying is think about actually creating an integrated experience in Office 365. Bring that intranet in, not later, but as part of your rollout of getting people online with Office 365. And allow them to not only launch it from the in Office 365 app launcher, but also make it part of what they're doing and integrate it with their Outlook and things like groups and people, things like Power BI and Planner, and actually do these from this portal structure in an integrated common user experience. So let's take a look at a couple examples of what this might look like. So of course we've already seen this intranet portal. You can have an intranet, and this is where they come in. They can start at home. You can even have this come up as kind of the home page of Office 365. This is what they see first. They can get at their email, they can get their calendars, they can get at the different things they might use every day, but they come in here, they see the latest news, they see links to things that are relevant to them, both in Office 365 and outside, and events and everything else. But this is the home page they start at. Much more inviting than just going to a big list of services and tools. Second, they might be part of a department, say part of IT support. And here they could actually go from that intranet into their IT department site where they work every day. They could access a help desk, they could access assets and so on, the business processes that they use every day. Also, this is where you can intuitively put in the team links into Office 365. They can link to the IT group here. They can have a group calendar and OneDrive. All of it within here, integrated with their portal that has announcements and case management for ticket tracking and so on. Even dashboards and Power BI right here. This is all making it part of their workday, and they're linking to it rather than just a bunch of links over from the waffle here. It's part of what they are doing and where they spend their day. So at any time, they could get to groups and talk to different people in their groups, go participate in conversations, the OneDrive, calendar, planner, and other things right from this page. They can actually go in and get to shared documents that are being shared with them through OneDrive as part of the support group in Office 365. They can also go in and see their own Delve. Delve is where they actually can go in and see My Documents, who's shared things with me, and interact from a document perspective or other perspectives. They can even go into the people portion of Office 365 and use Skype for Business to talk with members of their team or people outside their team. And then finally, they can actually go in and see how the different measurements, how many tickets they've gotten in, what the response times are, by accessing their dashboard right from here. But the key thing is they're accessing these services now as a part of their job in the context of their job. And that's the key point we're making here. Now, it may be that they need to go find services, or they need to get help from, say, HR or have a question. That's another thing that you can do here is these portals can have a service component. So while IT, that person may actually serve and have customers internally in the organization supporting their technology needs, they have an employee portal over there. But if I need help coming from IT, I can easily go to the HR portal where I can put in a service request here. I can see what my latest certification statuses are, any of my documents, and I can also get other resources. So what we're really talking about here is putting Office 365 into the context of how people do work through an intranet structure. And do it as part of your launch of Office 365, not later when people have already basically gotten overwhelmed and gotten a bad taste in their mouth. So if we take a look at Office 365, old versus new, the old way, and we've again been through over 1,000 of these, was, take and move that Exchange server to the cloud. Leave everything else the same. They can use Outlook on their client and so on. Then introduce online. Try to get people to move online with email and with calendars and maybe some doc sharing in SharePoint Online or OneDrive. That's a phase 2. And then phase 3, bring in groups and an intranet and some of that intranet structure and a Skype for Business. Now, the only problem with this is many times it doesn't make it past here because they're so overwhelmed with everything that's here, and maybe they don't like email there. They can't get used to it, which today it's pretty much equal to the client side there. But it's when they go online with email that they get exposed to all the other cool services as well. But if you never get past this point, you're never going to get to the full benefit of going to the cloud in Office 365. So a new way that we've seen work quite a bit is the phase 1 will be to move Exchange, but also at the same time move people online with their email and calendars. Phase 2 is really where you start to introduce the whole online services thing. This is where in phase 2, and this is almost immediate after phase 1, okay? The minute you go into phase 1 and move email, then go to phase 2, and that's where you start to have the things that really draw them in. Have that intranet homepage there. Have Employee Central where they can get some services and find documents and so on in a doc and search capability as well. So what you're doing now is you're delivering value outside of just all the tools that you're throwing at them by bringing it into the context of this structure in the context of the way they work. And then finally, phase 3 is where you really start going operational. You start to bring in some of those department portals. You implement groups and teams at the same time, because a lot of the times those teams are the same as departments out there. And you'll also have ad hoc teams. And start to implement that employee center, which feeds some of the department portal things like consolidated help desk and so on. So really what we're seeing here is instead of doing it with MS Office Online, bring it in with a total intranet and operational portal concept that brings it to them in an intuitive way in the organizational structure that they're used to working in, and then mold that and pair that with some of the groups and teams and capabilities. You're going to find that you're going to get a lot more pickup of people using it in productive ways and having a good experience. So what we're really saying here and introducing something here is take a different approach. Don't throw everything at them from a tools perspective. Do it in such a way that brings it in really in the context of their organization using an intranet structure as part of it. So to learn more about this, visit spmarketplace.com. We've got a number of different white papers, webinars. We can also show you how easy it is to move to that intranet with out-of-the-box solutions. But I hope this has actually shown you some ideas of how you're going to go about bringing on adoption online with Office 365, leveraging intranet and portal structures to make it part of the transformation for your business.